Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanisms in Conspiracy from the Abyss universe of games. I don't have any great photos to show to you today because I played this on Board Game Arena, and it is a really good Board Game Arena implementation. I'd highly recommend checking it out. In Conspiracy, it is kind of a streamlined version of Abyss, and I really enjoyed it. Like, it caught me off guard how much I enjoyed it. I really look forward to playing it again. And I have a few mechanisms in it that I really enjoy. The basic idea, hopefully Joe can throw some images up on the screen here. The basic idea is that on your turn, you are selecting one or more cards, typically just one, but sometimes more than one if they're available, of the same color. And those cards populate your upside down pyramid tableau. And sometimes you gain some additional locations as you place these tiles or these cards. Sometimes you also gain pearls. And then as soon as someone's upside down pyramid is filled in, the game is over and you'll score in a couple different categories, a few of which I'll mention in a second because they are my favorite mechanism in the game. A few little things about this, the core kind of gameplay mechanisms that I really enjoy. One, I like that you don't choose where your cards go unless you're placing more than one card. There are certain circumstances that I'll explain in a second where you place maybe two cards of the same color, and if you do that, you'll choose which order they go in. That is not a big decision in the game, the order that the same color cards get placed in. The point of this is that typically when you only have one card, you must place it left to right, top to bottom, or top to bottom, left to right. So you'll start in the upper left corner of your upside down pyramid, and then you'll go to the right and the right and the right, and then you'll go down to the next row. And I thought it was really interesting that this isn't a decision that you have. You can't choose where in the pyramid to put your cards. This is where they must go. This is where they automatically go. And I was wondering how that would impact the gameplay, but it actually really added to the puzzle of the game. It was a good reminder to me that constraints and limitations in games can actually enhance the puzzles that those games offer, because that decision point is taken away from the players. Now back to like how you actually get these cards. This is another really clever mechanism I find, and it applies partially at least to Abyss as well. On your turn, you are either taking all cards of the same color that are face up in the supply. So if there's one yellow card, one green card, and say two red cards, I could choose one yellow, one green, or I must take two, did I say blue or red? Blue, two blue cards. You must take those two blue cards. And you then must place them in your pyramid. Or you can choose cards from the top of the deck, and either you can draw one, two, or three cards. And this is a really, really interesting decision point here, because if you just draw, say, one card, you must place that card in your pyramid. You have no range of choice there. You're drawing one, you're placing one. And no matter what, even if you draw three, you are still only choosing one of them. Even if you draw all red cards, you only get to place one of them if you're drawing cards as your turn. So if you draw that one, you must place it. If you draw three, you have three different cards to choose from. However, the two cards that you do not choose enter the global supply. So I just mentioned there's a green, yellow, and two blue cards in the supply. If I choose to draw two cards and say I keep a red card and the other card is the yellow, now there are two yellow cards in the supply, which isn't necessarily good for the other players because of the thing I just mentioned where you are forced to put them in your tableau, but generally it is better for other players to get more cards. And so you are giving other players a broader range of choices if you are drawing more cards. I really like this decision point, this idea that you can draw more cards and have more options, but by giving yourself more options, you give other players most likely more cards, but you don't really know. The other thing that this ties into is the scoring itself, which I really enjoy. There are a few different things that you're going to score at the end of the game, but two that kind of have a nice push and pull to them is that one of the things that you'll always score is that you'll look at your largest connected same color group of cards. So if you have, at the end of the game, 4 blue cards that are all connected in this final pyramid, you'll score 3 points for each of them. And that's the only group that you'll score. You won't look at your largest group of green and yellow and red. You'll look at the largest group of any single one color, and you'll score 3 points for each of those cards. At the same time, you will also score points as printed on the cards of the highest value card in each color. So if I have a blue card that's has a printed value of 4, a yellow that's a printed value of 5, a green that's a printed value of 6, and those are the highest numbers in each of those colors, I would gain 4 points for the blue, 6 for the green, and 5 for the yellow. I think that's how I said it in the example. In this example, I had a group of 4 cards. I'm not gaining any points from those other cards other than the biggest group. I'm not getting the core value of any of them. So the game is basically pushing you to get one high value card of each color, but not to place those cards in such a way that they break up your biggest chain of any one single color. So I really like this push and pull here, that you're incentivized to get these high value cards, but you want to get them at the right time so they don't break up this biggest group of a single color that you're trying to create. I thought that was just a really, really clever way of doing that. And also there's some location cards that you can get in the game that also push you in and pull you in those opposite directions. Lots of clever things in this game. It's a tight game. It plays in maybe 20 minutes on Board Game Arena, maybe even less if you know how to play. And I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend checking it out for these clever mechanisms. If you can think of anything else that I've missed about Conspiracy, or if these remind you of any choices that you have in similar games, or other games that aren't even all that similar, but similar mechanisms, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.